Jillian, thank you so much for doing this interview today. And I just want to jump right in and ask you, you mentioned that you started this work because of your own limiting beliefs around money. Can you take us back to that time? What was happening in your life and what made you decide to do something about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a serial entrepreneur. I could never work for anyone. And I owned a brick and mortar business. It was a Pilates and yoga studio. And I purchased that in 2016, started to make money right at the end of 2019. We all know what happened in 2020. I made it through COVID. And then after that, it was making money and it was successful and still not as much money as I wanted it to be making. And a lot of money was going out, even though I was doing a lot of the work myself. So really, it was mindset that changed everything for me. I met this woman who kind of just blew my mind when she said, like, well, you don't have to be working hard. You don't have to be doing everything yourself. Like, you could be making as much money as you want. You own a business. Anything is possible. I hadn't really even realized that that was a possibility. So I dove deep into coaching and learned that my thoughts created my reality and went all in. As soon as I figured that out, I just could not get enough. And really, that's how I became successful, was I started to change my own behaviors and thoughts around money. And I noticed that it worked in my own business. So once I sold that business and I sold it for 4.5 times what I bought it for, it was a huge success. Then I was like, this is amazing. This is life-changing. I have to teach this to other people.
That is amazing. How did you make that transition from doing your Pilates business to coaching people? What kind of went off in your mind when that woman said to you, you don't have to work hard?
Well, I kind of did like the very dramatic thing where I blew up my whole life and started all over, which, if that's what you're going for, great, but would not recommend if you're just looking to make small changes. So that's when I decided to sell my business. I realized that I had set up a very successful business, but it wasn't a business that I wanted. It wasn't the life that I wanted. I wanted to be able to travel more. I didn't want to be tied to a location. I didn't want to live where I was living. Like, I was in Las Vegas and it was really hot. And the summers were getting hotter and hotter. And I was like, I don't want to be here. So I did the dramatic thing of like, put my house on the market, put my business on the market, sold everything, moved to somewhere that I absolutely love, Seattle, which is so green and gorgeous, and started my coaching business. I mean, of course, it wasn't that simple, but I had been interested in coaching. I knew I wanted an online business. And then the pieces just kind of all started to fall together where it was like, oh, this is what I'm meant to be doing.
So when did you actually start coaching?
I wouldn't say I was actually a coach until maybe 3 years ago. 2 years ago was when I really was like, oh, I'm going to go get the certification. I'm going to like do the work to actually be able to say that I'm a coach.
So Jillian, when you decided that coaching was the way for you to work your business, how did you go from client number one to where you are today?
Even when I decided to do a coaching certification, I wasn't fully sold that like I was going to do it full time. It was kind of like, I want to do this for my personal development. I want to learn more about this, but I'm not sure this is 100% what I'm going to do full time and it's going to be my next business. And the first time my mentor coach in my program ever watched me coach, because that was part of the certification, she was like, oh, how many years have you been coaching? And I was like, what? This is like my first official like week. And she was like, what? So it was kind of, that was the light bulb moment of like, oh, wait, like I can really do this and I can make a business out of this. And I'd been doing consulting kind of only in my industry and my niche for fitness businesses. But once I realized that like I could coach and it was actually something that I was capable of, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is it. I had known that I wanted an online business. I knew I wanted more freedom. I knew I wanted to travel, but all the pieces hadn't started to come together. And I didn't know I wanted to be like a money coach. It was the thing that I had worked on the most for myself. But if you would have asked me, even when I started to coach others on money and started to just do general life coaching, if I was going to be a money coach, I would be like, oh, no way. That's a lot. It's really vulnerable putting yourself out there. Like, am I far enough along? Of course, all of my own limiting beliefs came up.
Sure. That makes sense. So many mortgage loan originators are technically skilled at their jobs, but they hit a ceiling, often right around that 200,000 mark, and they can't figure out why. They can't figure out why they're stuck. In your experience, what's really going on beneath the surface when someone hits that wall?
That is so common because that's about where you can work really hard. Like you can hustle your way to usually around the 200K mark, usually like 150, 250. A lot of my clients come to me around there because you can't do anything else at that point. At that point, you know everything. You know the strategy, you know what's working, you know how to make money, how to make sales. There's nothing else anyone can teach you. There's nothing else you can quote unquote do. It's the behaviors and it's the mindset. So everything after that is really setting yourself up to be a leader so that you can scale. Often at that level, we're doing a lot ourselves. We're not handing things off. We think that, oh my gosh, if I hand things off, no one else is going to do it as well as me. I have to be the one in control. Like, do I really want to manage a team? So at that level, it's really the mindset piece that needs to be done underneath it to get people being who they need to be, because it's not about doing more. It's about acting differently. See, what we think is going to happen is that we're going to get to the success, the $500,000, the $1 million, whatever it is, and then we're going to change our identity, our behavior, who we're being. Then we're going to spend time with our family more. Then we're going to make time to pick the kids up. Then we're going to take the family vacation. Then we're going to be able to do a spa day on the middle of a Wednesday or go enjoy the sunshine on a Thursday at noon, right? But it's actually the other way around. You get to that identity by doing those things now.
That's so powerful. And in my course, my very first module is about mindset. And I think what you just said is so powerful because you can get so much more with an open hand than you can with a closed fist. And people sometimes are like this because they consider themselves controlling. Nobody can do it as well as they can. But from what you're saying, it's a different mindset that's making them that way.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of the times with high achievers, we think it's like a good thing that we're controlling. We think it's a good thing that we're perfectionists or that we have perfectionism as a tendency in our work because we wear that as like a badge of honor. Like it makes us good at what we do. But again, you can only get so far yourself. And if you really focus on your zone of genius and letting some of those other things go and allowing help, that's how you're able to grow. That's how you're able to scale. That's how you're able to create more of that passive income that we all want.
Let's talk about money mindset at the fundamental level. What are the most common beliefs about money that you see holding high-performing professionals back? And where do those limiting beliefs come from?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So often the beliefs are not even ours. They're ones that we've just inherited a lot of the times from childhood, how we were brought up, and we just attach to them. We bring them on as our own. And it's that money is, it could be money that is evil. Like so often we want money, but we think that people who are rich are greedy or evil or bad, just because in our society, that's like very common to think that. Or we think that you have to work hard to make a lot of money. So like working hard is this thing that we want to do because we think it's a good thing, when it could be holding us back. So whatever we're thinking about money, we need to consciously look and go, wait, is that my thought? Or did I just pick that up from someone else? And do I want to keep that thought? Because here's the thing, even if you have these thoughts that are from your childhood, from like, for example, growing up, like if you were growing up and you saw your parents opening the bills and being like, oh my gosh, everything goes out. We never have enough money. Oh, we can't spend money. And you took that on. We need to ask ourselves, is this serving us? Do we want to identify with those beliefs that we're holding on to? And so often the answer is, no, we don't. Like, it's not working.
I don't know if you remember, but a previous conversation that we had, I mentioned a story from my childhood where there was this man that gave me a $50. And I was a really small child, like maybe 4 or 5. And I showed it to my mom and she says, well, give this back to him because you don't just get money. People don't just give you money. And the impression that it left on me at that age, and I had to work through it till very recently, is that I have to work hard for money. I have to work for money. It shouldn't just show up. Do some of your clients have a similar belief?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really common for most people to have that belief. And then when you think about it, it's like, well, what is money? Like, what is money? Money is energy, and energy is everywhere. And like, money can just show up. We've all had that experience where we find money, whether it's in our pocket or we get a check in the mail, or like someone sends us money that wasn't expected. And like, that's amazing, right? So why should we want to work hard for money? I'm not saying we shouldn't work. I love to work. I love to help my people. And also, why wouldn't I want money to be easy? Like, it's so much more fun that way.
I like that. You almost make money sound like we could have a great relationship with it. I like the way you're positioning it.
Yeah. I like to say that you have a relationship with money, just like you have a relationship with everything in your life. So imagine if you, like, let's picture your spouse. If you ignored your spouse, if you didn't treat them well, how would they act towards you? You want to be nice to money. You want to take care of your money. You want to say good things to it, right? Because you're in a relationship with money, just like you're in a relationship with everything.
For those listening to this right now who recognize themselves in what you're describing, they know they have limiting beliefs, but they don't know where to start. What's the first concrete thing that they can do this week even to begin shifting that?
Yeah, that's such a good question. You know, honestly, it's really as simple as looking at the thoughts that they're thinking, looking at their beliefs and seeing if they want to keep them. For example, when a bill comes, how do you react? When you get a payment in your bank account, what do you think? When someone mentions money, what do you say? If someone tries to buy you a coffee, do you let them? Do you let money come towards you? It's looking at those beliefs and those thoughts and deciding, okay, are these serving me? Are these moving me forward in the relationship with money I want to have? Are these positive thoughts about money that are going to help me make more money? Or are they ones that are actually not serving me? And if they are, what do I want to think differently? A really good one that I think that we say all the time is like, that's expensive, I can't afford it. But so often when we say I can't afford it, what we're really saying is like, it's not a priority to me. I don't want to invest in that. And notice how different of a thought that is. Notice how different of a statement that is, where we're taking our power back. So I think that's a really good place for people to start.
Jillian, you mentioned being a certified money coach. Is that your title?
Yes.
What does that mean? What does that mean? For many of my listeners, they're not going to have any idea what a certified money coach is, how you become certified, how does one work with you? What does that mean? Unpack that for us.
Yeah. So coaching is an unregulated industry, and money is one of those topics, like money, health, that sure, you don't need the credentials. And also, I think it's really important to know who's certified to have the power to help you. So I am certified with the International Coaching Federation. I have a PCC, which means that I've coached an X amount, hundreds of hours, so that I can hold that that certification. It just lets people know that like I've done the work. I keep up with my continuing ed, right? Just like realtors or anyone, and do the work to be knowledgeable in my industry. And when it comes to money, that's just my specialty. I love to talk about money mindset because I'm so passionate about this work. But I have a lot of different certifications in everything from like life coaching to more of the woo-woo stuff like EFT tapping, hypnosis. So basically, it just means that I've done the work that I can actually help you accomplish your goals.
Thank you. And I know that you work with clients who want to move beyond six figures and even into seven figures. So what does that level of thinking look like? And is the mindset of someone who's building towards seven figures genuinely different from someone who's stuck at 200,000?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really the fundamental difference. Like, yes, any good seven-figure CEO has an amazing strategy, but it's the mindset. The mindset is the differentiator between six figures and seven. It's how you're acting, it's how you're showing up, it's who you're being, not what you're doing. And so often we think that it's something that we need to do that's different to get us to seven figures. But really, if you talk to seven-figure entrepreneurs, it's the identity. It is the mindset piece. It is who they are being. And it's deciding to act like that person now, because that's how you become a seven-figure leader. You don't wait to get the results and then change. You need to start doing that now if you want to create a 7-figure business.
It's who you're being, not what you're doing. That's powerful. Do you have any specific examples, maybe how that looked for a client of yours who went through the change?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. I have clients who come to me that are trying to do it all. They're just stuck in this mindset that they have to be the ones to do it. Like, this is how they've become successful. So this is how they need to get to the next level. But really, once they are able to let go of that, for example, one of my clients, she had to get brave enough to hire a manager, and that was a big salary to bring on to payroll. That was a big mindset shift. But she literally never even felt it because her sales went up so dramatically, so quickly, that she was able to scale from, gosh, 300,000 to like 600,000 in a year. And now she's on her second location and she'll be at $1 million by probably Q2 next year. Like, those are the pieces that really, really change us.
So Jillian, you've talked a lot about how this works kind of personally, but how can people apply this in their work, in their business? How can they apply this money mindset concept in their work life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is so important because it's one thing to do it in our personal life with our own spending, but it's totally different to do it in our business. So I think if you're trying to scale a business and you want to get it to that next level, you need to actually make bold decisions, make bold moves with your money when you're trying to get to 7 figures. So if you're trying to operate as a 7-figure leader, you have to make decisions like that person. And that isn't always fun in our business, especially when we're growing, scaling. We have to make hard decisions, but we need to think that our money is only going to work as hard for us as we do for it, right? So we need to put that energy into our business so that it can return the money.
And before we close, I know you have a free resource that speaks directly to everything we've been talking about today. Please tell my audience about your 100 limiting beliefs freebie and where they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a freebie that is a PDF download, and it is the 100 most common limiting beliefs I see as a certified money coach that people are just telling themselves on repeat. And for example, I had one client tell me, oh my goodness, like I had 70 of these and I didn't even realize it. So just bringing that awareness top of mind, we're able to start making those changes like I discussed. So I will absolutely send you the link for that. It's a great resource for anyone who's looking to make more money in any aspect of their life, entrepreneur, personal money, whatever it could be. And then I'm on all the things at Jillian Minter. So my website is jillianminter.com. I'm most active on Instagram at Jillian Minter.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Jillian. And my audience and I look forward to connecting with you more after this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.